locomotive, train, CSX train traveling from Ohio, destined for Georgia, did derail here in the Maryville area.
There was an explosion, concrete, gravel post from the railroad crossing, the light blew over my car. I just immediately began to back up and call 911 and kind of take cover. I didn't know what was going on as the train went on down the track.
The CSX folks have been on the scene from very early this morning, working with us, evaluating the situation.
We want to make sure that folks stay out of the evacuated area until the fire department, the city lifts that.
Like a volcano, you know, just bail on out. You can smell it. Some of the police said that when they got close to it, it would hurt their throats and stuff, so people don't need to be around it at all. It's just weird, you know? Something could happen that quick so fast.
In the middle of the night on July 2nd, 2015, a train carrying more than 20,000 gallons of a toxic chemical known as acrylonitrile derailed here near the railroad crossing of Singleton Station Road. The train continued for 9 miles before it stopped, but by then, the car was engulfed in flames, billowing thick black smoke into the night sky.
We are following breaking news this morning out of Blount County. A train derailed overnight, catching fire and spilling poisonous gas.
It happened after midnight. More than 5,000 people are being asked to leave their homes. 12 emergency responders are expected to be decontaminated at Blount Memorial Hospital.
But what is acrylonitrile, and why did it pose such a threat to the people of Blount County?
It's ordinarily a liquid. I think the boiling point is about 170 degrees. Water boils at about 200, so it's a liquid with a vapor pressure, and I'm sure that the emergency responders could smell it this morning when they got on the scene. It's used in a lot of products. Lego toys can be tracked back to acrylonitrile, as well as carbon fiber and nitrile gloves. So it can be very bad for you because it breaks up into cyanide in the body, and it acts like hydrogen cyanide or carbon monoxide.
What they used to use in gas chambers? Is that what you said earlier?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It binds to your hemoglobin and displaces oxygen. Well, large doses can actually kill you, take your life. And it has a variety of effects.
Symptoms involving coughing or wheezing, spasm, or shortness of breath. Those would be things that we would be concerned about with it.
With these effects in mind, officials evacuated thousands of people.
This is like I said, it is a hazardous material. We do not want anyone to be impacted from that. We will be working with local officials. We're in the process of establishing monitoring for water and air.
The evacuees were rushed here to Foothills Mall for safety. But as the toxic fumes spread and the evacuation zone widened, officials were forced to take them to Heritage High School.
The Red Cross is in the process of setting up this shelter. Right now, everyone is still standing outside because they have not been able to start that registration process just quite yet. The Red Cross has not been on scene that long. They've just, in the past few minutes, been able to get inside the building, start evaluating where they're going to be able to put people, how they're going to get the food made, all the things that the Red Cross does in these situations.
At 1 o'clock this morning, the policeman knocked on the door and said, "You got to go."
So it's so groggy, you know, it's the middle of the morning, and so we just took a little time to register.
When I first left, it didn't have a really bad smell to the air out where we lived, but by the time we left, which was by 2:30, it smelled bad. I mean, it stunk.
Having to leave their homes with little warning meant those evacuated didn't have time to grab their necessities.
I have a special needs child, and we were evacuated, and I was just trying to find out if there was any way we could go back in our house to get things like our breathing machines and medicines, supplies, diapers, wipes, things like that if we needed to, but we've been told we can't go back in. So what's next? What are we going to do if she stops breathing in a couple hours. And now they're saying, what, 24 to 48 hours? So I didn't think about anything other than just getting us out.
In the initial hours of the spill, first responders were flooded with phone calls.
I got about 400 last night just on this console. We have personnel out in the field also to try to take care of some of the calls that we have in the hot zone still that, you know, we can't take care of. It kind of just lets off some of the steam from in here. People will always worry. They will always call, and they may have situations at home they just don't know about. If something's not quite right at home, they may call in and they may ask about symptoms, and so we have a list of the symptoms that they might have.
This is 911 calling back. Can you tell me what's going on?
I don't expect it'll get better until the evacuees go back to their homes, because they'll be calling and wanting to know what the status is, whether they can go back, and worried about their pets and worried about other people that are still maybe in that area that they've gotten word for some reason or another that they haven't evacuated.
We are here at the corner of a closed Lamar Alexander Parkway, one of the busiest roads in Maryville that has now been closed for 12 hours since this train derailed about midnight last night. You can see the barricade here. Nobody is getting through westbound from Foothills Mall all the way to William Blunt Drive. We've been out here for about 8 hours and it's looked exactly the same as this.
Not only was the acrylonitrile harmful to people, but it could also do damage to the environment.
There's a possibility that there may be some spill from the site. The county has encouraged people not to drink the well water. If you need water, come to the Heritage Middle School.
You are welcome. The water, it pouring rain, so it's probably washing it down, and we live about 2 miles away from it. So I was worried about drinking water and stuff. And my wife's 6 months pregnant, so we're trying to get as much bottled water as possible.
The Blount County Animal Center stepped up to help the evacuees who were not able to bring their pets to the shelter at Heritage High School.
We're all DART trained, disaster animal response team trained, so we immediately responded and contacted our animal control officers and sent them out to Heritage High School where there was some folks with animals, and then the rest of my staff came in here. If they can't care for them properly or house them or shelter them, they need to bring them on out here to us, and we'll do that. We've reached out to all our fosters, so we're sending a lot of our animals that were already in-house out with fosters, so we'll have room for them. And we also have other places that we can ship animals to temporarily to care for them.
It wasn't just the people of Maryville who were affected by the derailment. Several local businesses that were in the evacuation zone had to shut down, at least temporarily.
The Blount Partnership, which includes the Chamber of Commerce here, tells me that there were 3 industrial parks in the area impacted by this derailment. They had to close down. In addition to that, you have the Walmart here behind me and all the dozens of businesses and restaurants in this kind of surrounding parking lot area that for much of the day were closed.
81. Okay, this is your pizza, your fridge dip.
There's just a lot of people impacted by this that, are usually, around here working. They have everything in town just about shut down. So I figure that, with everybody else shut down, we're probably going to be pretty busy today.
Subs and Such in the Midland Shopping Center remained open. The restaurant offered its customers hope to go along with their meal.
Let's just pray for everybody that was affected, and just hope to come through it okay.
Second Harvest was also evacuated, leaving many to go without their normal food delivery.
We can't get to our trucks, so we can't get anywhere. The stores are going to throw away the food we usually pick up. It's just it just couldn't have happened at a worse time. We have so many great partners who have been calling us, can you get to us? And the answer is no. So you just feel like you've let the community down.
Although staying at a makeshift shelter wasn't ideal, the people of Maryville and those with the Red Cross made the most out of a bad situation.
Nobody knew when they went to bed that this was going to happen. When we have a lot of single mothers in here with children and so forth, and you could tell when we first started talking to them, the concern they had.
I wasn't surprised, but I really was impressed because everybody showed up and ready to work.
Well, I thought it'd just be like a couple hours when we'd be back home, so I wasn't really worried about it until they said 24 to 48 hours. I'm like, I didn't bring extra clothes, I didn't grab nothing except basics for a few hours.
I'm thankful nobody's gotten hurt so far.
and they've done a good job taking care of the situation that you know it's happened. They're here. They're not ignoring the situation.
I've been a lot of places. There ain't no place like Blount County. I think everyone I've talked to, I say, you all are wonderful. Something happens, you got people like this here. We're all neighbors. Any kind of emergency, you don't have to ask for help. It's there automatically.
On July 3rd, officials and environmentalists said evacuees were safe to go home. 36 hours later, that's a day and a half away from home, away from pets, and away from comfort.
It's been a very productive evening. There's been a lot of work continuing through the night, and we are getting reports now from CSX that we are ready to begin the process, and it will be a process to develop plans for repopulation. It's been right at 36 hours of a long ordeal that's coming quickly to a close for our citizens.
Get back into your homes, take your time, make sure that that everything is fine at your house. We're there and we're not going anywhere.
After a day and a half, the evacuees were ready to get back to a sense of normalcy.
I got a package. I wonder how they delivered that and I was gone. Oh yes, ain't nothing like home.
We have a pond. I was checking to make sure our fish were still okay. So I'm very excited to be back. I don't know what we're supposed to do now, but I guess everything's okay.
You know, it's funny, 5 hours ago, I would have been standing in the evacuation zone, but now all that remains closed are a couple of roads like the one behind me here. They're just stretches of road that border the portion of railway where the derailment happened as CSX crews continue to clear and clean that area.
Although people were allowed back into their homes, the cleanup and the investigation were just beginning.
We had 57 cars that were on this train. All but 2 of those cars have been removed from the site. The 2 cars that remain are the 1 car that was breached during the process, as well as 1 car that contains the same chemical that was coupled attached. We will begin the reconstruction of the damaged track, and as well as other remediation, and only then will we know a real estimate of when we will be able to run trains again. There was a black box, and it is being evaluated right now. All that data is in the process of being downloaded. We will not be running trains until we are 100% sure that everything has been handled appropriately, safely.
Concerns lingered for people in the area, but officials were quick to assuage them.
I'm still a bit worried about what the chemicals have a reaction to the reaction of the chemicals to like the ground and the soil, especially because we grow our vegetables and stuff like that, and then there's the worry about, I guess, the air.
We just don't envision there's really any impact to produce, to swimming pools, to animals. We think everybody's very safe to go back home.
It has not been the Independence Day many in Blount County hope for. Hundreds of people evacuated during the toxic train crash this week spent their day standing in line at the CSX station.
CSX offered people affected by the derailment reimbursement for lost wages or costs incurred during the time of their evacuation.
We ask that those residents bring a photo ID, a proof of their address, receipts for all eligible costs that were incurred to the center for reimbursement. If someone has lost wages, they need to bring that to the attention at the outreach center, and it will be addressed there on a case-by-case basis.
I think CSX has quite a few personnel here to get people through quickly. So I think that's probably helped. I've heard of nobody complaining. I know CSX and the Red Cross have done a wonderful job in taking care of people. So that's been a good thing.
It was not our choice to relocate where we didn't want to, so it was just an apology, and I just really appreciate what they did.
We are recommending residents who are on well water to not use the water. Yeah, we've been on well water ever since we've lived here.
A year after the derailment, experts continue to test the water for acrylonitrile.
Who would purposely buy a home where they're testing your water, constantly? The future of this whole property. Is it really safe? I mean, this may not be something that we find out for a long time. I think that's always going to be in the back of our mind. If one of us do get sick, is it going to be that? Is it going to be something that they didn't catch right away?
Right now what we have is one detection in a well that's located 300 feet maybe from the derailment. And so far, everything else in the surrounding area has come up with non-detection, and we'll continue to test those to make sure that everybody feels comfortable with it.
Getting more than 4,900 tons of contaminated soil out of the ground was expensive for CSX. State reports say it cost more than $3.1 million. Even 2 years later, testing still showed some acrylonitrile in the ground. Then came the lawsuits.
Already, we've had 2 new suits filed in the county, with several in the federal courts still pending. That includes one filed by first responders who had to seek medical attention after working in the contaminated area.
Side effect I noticed was the burning in the chest, the throat, and the eyes.
A telephone call initially brought me here from one of the people that had been evacuated from their homes and had gotten terribly sick.
More than 400 people filed lawsuits, some bundling their cases together, and most saying chemicals from the derailment hurt them.
We have a lot of people that are going to make claims not just for $500, but because that's the routine amount of money. CSX, Canadian National, Norfolk and Southern, that's what they always do, $500.
Some people settled out of court for a confidential sum of money. Several residents had their cases heard in federal court, asking for $5 million. They got around $13,000 each, after a jury determined the tanker truck manufacturer was not negligent.
Even though the smoke cleared and homes were reclaimed more than a decade ago, the impact of the 2015 derailment still lingers. What could have been a tragedy became a testament to Maryville's heart strength and spirit. Maryville didn't just endure, it became stronger.